Welcome to the Third Eye Show, which brings you ancient wisdom as well as cutting-edge investigations into the mysteries of the universe. The Third Eye Show celebrates our diversity, like the unique beauty of each individual wave, and our oneness, like the magnificent ocean from which each wave emerges. We are all one in spirit as we live on this earth plane. The third eye is said to be able to see into the spiritual and psychic realms. At a time when our lives, our country, and our planet are undergoing intense transformations, we will explore topics that will fascinate, enlighten, and empower. Join us as we witness the thrilling ways spirit manifests in our daily lives and the varied paths we choose to create heaven here on our earth. The Third Eye Show is created and offered in love and light.
Today's Third Eye Show comes to you from beautiful New Jersey. First, we catch up with Renae Jensen, a master Feng Shui practitioner who gives us an introduction to this ancient and fascinating practice and shows us how simple adjustments can enhance both our public and private spaces. Then, we meet with a group of dedicated educators and friends from the Metaphysical Center of New Jersey. The center has been opening hearts and minds since 1956 and may just be the first of its kind in America. So sit back and enjoy a unique hour in the Garden State on today's Third Eye Show.
Hello, my name is Renae Jensen, and I am a Feng Shui certified expert, and I have a company called Design Harmony Feng Shui. And I am very delighted to be here with the Third Eye to talk to you about my favorite topic in the world, which is Feng Shui. This is a very ancient art, and it is basically the Chinese words that mean wind and water. And it's very interesting that we are filming here today in a cemetery setting behind me, because Feng Shui was originally designed to be an art for the dead. You wanted to honor your ancient dead ancestors, and it wasn't so much because you loved Grandma and Grandpa, but so much that you wanted the good luck and you wanted the benevolence from their spirits to come into your life. And so you made sure that they had an excellent grave setting, because that showed that they were wealthy and they were very important. And so Feng Shui was basically designed as an art for the dead. And so you might hear some noise in the background and some cars going, and this is one of the reasons why we do need Feng Shui today. It is not such an easy thing to find a quiet setting in this busy world that we are in. And we really need to be able to honor ourselves with nature and to be able to bring our spirits back and our inner peace back into our lives today. And so Feng Shui is not just a Chinese art, but it goes back thousands of years. It goes back through India, where it is called Vastu Shastra. And before that, I could like to say that the first Feng Shui masters lived in the caves. The first time man decided to access a cave and find shelter where he could protect his family, his wealth, his food, he used the environment to support his life and to create a better life for himself. And that is the entire focus of Feng Shui. And so the caveman was our original Feng Shui master. And it wasn't long before they knew that if they had the best cave in the clan, that they had the most importance. And so it wasn't long before man decided where he would access the best cave, the best spot in the village where he could be honored and be valued. And so it goes. Today you will see the mansions located in the hillsides. You will see how people have used this art, whether they know it or not, to be most important and be most valued. And so what is my gift with it? Why do I feel so passionate about this? I really have discovered that we are living very mentally. We're very intelligent human beings, and we work very hard at doing really well for ourselves in the world. And we sometimes forget to honor that outside world, and we have become very disconnected. Feng Shui is based on 3 principles. We are connected. Everything in the world is made up of living things. Everything has life, and things are constantly changing. Now, if you are familiar with our busy lives today, you will see that there is a disconnect in the world today. We have a disconnect from our families. We have a disconnect from nature. So being connected is only seen via cell phones today. We've lost that inner connection. The fact that everything has life has also been lost today. We have a disregard for animals. We have a disregard for nature many times, and we forget that everything in the world has life. And so we want to honor that. And the third part that we really need to get back to is that everything is changing. And today everyone wants to freeze themselves at 25 years old. They want to freeze their bodies. They want to freeze time. And they want to just forget that we came in a circle, and we need to honor that again. And so how do we apply Feng Shui, and how does it work in our homes and in our lives? And one of the things I'd like to mention is that there are many, many, many Feng Shui books out in the world today. I've been marketing director for the International Feng Shui Guild. I've seen the growth grow from 2 or 3 books to hundreds and hundreds of books. So if you feel confused, it is absolutely okay, because even the masters get confused. But I don't want you to give up on understanding about Feng Shui, because it is well worth the journey. Consider it to be something like a yoga or a martial art or a diet. Find something that you resonate with in a book or a class or a lecture, and just jump in slightly and just start reading and understanding, and only do what really feels good and makes sense to you. So I hope that in our talk today I can explain some of the basic concepts and really make you understand. So one of the main things in Feng Shui that we look at first is the main door of your home. And that is the Qi. It's called the mouth of energy. And so your front door says that you are the master of your life. And what does your front door look like? Is it invisible? Does it have broken hinges? How do you honor this beautiful home that you've created? It is the actual gate between the outer world and the inner world. And so your front door should look absolutely fabulous. It should be the door that if the man was coming down the road with this $1 million check in his pocket, like the old television show, that he would say, wow, look at that front door, and he would come right to you. You want to attract all the benevolence into your life and honor yourself. So what happens if we don't use our front door? And most of us do not, especially in America. We put this cavernous garage doors on these homes. They have much more importance than our main front door. And so what are we saying? As a culture, we are driving constantly. We're always on the go. And our cars have more value than the humans. And so if you pull into your garage and you use your side door, if you go around and use your back door, the Chinese say, are you the master of your life, or are you a servant in your life? Because we are using the servant's headquarters. So we should at least take time to go outside our front door and come in and acknowledge that you are the master of this incredible home that you've created, and allow yourself to reap the rewards of that. Otherwise, you're just going to be considered another servant going in and out of this home, and the master is away somewhere. So how can you attract all the fabulous things that are meant for you? And so the door should not be blocked, because in Feng Shui, a home actually represents a third skin. It is not just a mirror of who you are, it is who you are. You've created the home, you've bought the furniture, you've chosen the art, you've chosen to live with a mother-in-law. Whatever you have decided to set up or not set up in the home is a reflection of where you are at. And that is how Feng Shui works, and that is why it is so pivotal and so key, and it is a tool that we just don't realize that we have available to us. So today we spent a lot of time, we've learned that journaling can change our lives. So we take the thoughts out of our mind and we put them on paper. And people that journal have actually been proven to gain a lot of success by the act of writing things down. What happens then if you take the journaling and you create a vision board? That's very popular. So you get pictures of things that you want, things that you feel in your life that you can have. Now think of this. Take the vision board and create a 3D, and that should be your home. Your home should not just be what you want in your life now, but it should be what you want forever or in your future. It should become a living expression 3D of everything, because you will resonate with that, and before you know it, that is your life. So I like to consider our homes to be our vision board and honor ourselves in that regard. It's a fabulously fun process, and soon all the things that don't work are going to show up. You're going to find that if you have broken clocks, things don't work. If you have clutter, you definitely have unfulfilled dreams, you have blockages in life. You will find artwork to be very, very important. A piece of artwork is what I consider modern Feng Shui, because you are actually creating a window into a world. The human mind does not know the difference between a lemon and a picture of a lemon. The same exact reaction, the chemicals, everything are expressed identically. So every piece of artwork in your home actually takes you somewhere. So what are you saying to yourself? Do you have a lot of storms in your pictures? Do you have a lot of lonely landscapes? Your artwork is a great way to bring yourself into a different place. A lot of people that are lonely, that want romance, have a lot of empty pictures. They have a lot of lonely landscapes. They have a lot of single women. I was just recently on a consult, and a woman invited me in to do a romance. She wanted romance, and she must have had over 23 images of single women in her home. Huge Native American women. She had single wolves. She had even single candlesticks. And so she had to learn to express herself in twos. So we are really learning how to rethink and how our home is speaking to us. And so one of the things I really wanted to focus on in our brief time together is your bedroom, because that is the most important place that you can focus your energy on empowering your life. And why is that? We spend most of our time in our bedroom, and if we are not spending time in our bedroom, that also speaks to us about not honoring ourselves. So the master bedroom can do 99% of the Feng Shui that you want to do in your life to make changes you can do working within your bedroom. So it should be the first place that you actually go to design and honor. So I'm going to talk about a few basic concepts, and then I will talk about a very interesting consultation I had that once in a while you do get an opportunity to see very powerful symbolism in Feng Shui. So let's talk about the master bedroom. First of all, the headboard is one of the key things to have in Feng Shui. No headboard means no support in life. And so you will find many teenagers throwing their headboards out because they don't want support. They just want to hang out there and be loose and just kind of don't want any help. And they will throw their beds on the floor, which ideally you want to be off the floor a little bit, but you don't want one of those high beds that you have to get a ladder to climb in that are very popular today, because the higher the bed, the more difficult the partner. So headboard is critical, and a solid wood headboard is recommended. A headboard that is metal has a few issues, very much in Feng Shui and in science as well. We are magnetic beings, and so metal attracts magnetism, and it brings a lot of electromagnetic fields into our bodies and minds, and is a health risk. So I never recommend a metal headboard. Now, before I go further, I just want to say one thing. If you have a metal headboard and everything in your life is fine, and your health is fine, and your wealth is fine, and your relationship is fine, I'm not telling you to throw your headboard out. I want you to use common sense. I want you to evaluate yourself first, because not everyone has all the issues. But definitely, overall rule is no metal headboards. An open headboard design means an open relationship. So if you tend to have a challenging love life or marriage, go for the solid wood headboard or fabric headboard for support. You have to watch the scrolling designs. You don't want a lot of division in your headboard because it will divide the couple. Now we're going to be looking at a picture of a metal headboard that I saw in a recent consultation, and I had not met this client before. And this headboard had a very, very unique design to it. And I looked at this design over and over again and could not understand why it looked so familiar to me. And it bothered me. Where have I seen this design before? And I went over and over, and finally I thought it actually looks like a female, the uterus. And I said, I must be crazy. So I went online and I brought up some images, and it exactly matched the uterus. So here I was faced with a client I hadn't met, because I was doing we did via email consult, because it actually was for a show, and I had no idea what her issues were. And here I am faced with this very unique headboard that looked like a frozen uterus. So I emailed her and I asked her, what is it that you would like to gain from this consultation? Because her bedroom had a lot of things that needed fixing, but this thing really, really popped out. Her request was that she would like to have children. She had endometriosis and was not able to have children. So she had actually gone out and spent over $2,000 to buy a headboard that absolutely represented her physical issues, as she brought it into the house, which then amplified the issues a lot more and kept it frozen in time. Well, as a consultant, do you go to the client with such a finding because it sounds very bizarre? And absolutely. You speak your truth, because you never know what is going to come from it. So I spoke my truth, and I said to her, I know it sounds crazy, but here is what your headboard looks like. She absolutely got it. She got it, and she said, I am getting rid of that headboard so fast. If I could carry it down on my back, I would remove it immediately. And so she understood why she got it, and she understood that she was keeping herself stuck with the headboard. So the moral of the story is to just to go for it, and to trust your instincts, and to get the help. And she did, and she made the changes, and she did so much good Feng Shui that her husband got a career change, and they're switching homes, and a new headboard is on the way, and I hope eventually a new baby will be on the way as well. Next phase is the other steps in the bedroom is the position of the bed. And this is something very key in Feng Shui, and it's called the command position. And this applies to a bed and a desk. And it is about being safe and secure in the world. And so in Feng Shui, if you imagine human beings to be in a cave, and you imagine the enemy coming in, where would you like your family to be? Where would you like to be positioned? And you always want to put yourself with a view of the door, but yet you want to be in control of. You don't want to be in the line of fire. And so your bed should have a nice view of the door and not be in the doorway path. So let's talk about why Feng Shui works, and what are the key issues that we talk about in the bedroom. And then you can actually apply common sense to it. The reason Feng Shui works is that it relies on human nature and feeling safe in your environment. So if you have a sharp object over your head, such as a fan, you may be looking up at that fan saying, I know that's not going to come off and chop me, but it bothers you. And so you ignore it and you just say, I'm being ridiculous. But your body doesn't forget that you have a sharp object over you. And day after day after day, it starts to be a drain on your system. If you have heavy beams over your head, the human body does not feel safe with heavy objects over it. So it will have to go on alert. So even while you're sleeping or dining or sitting under a heavy beam, part of your body is absolutely putting attention on the weight above it. So we always want to feel safe in our environment. So our bedroom needs to become a nest. It needs to become something that nurtures and supports us. We don't want these cavernous suites that are making couples get further and further apart, because it is like sleeping out in the open. If you have a giant master suite with giant windows and your body is exposed to all the neighbors and you have a big skylight above you, you are going to have not only a hard time going to sleep, but you're going to have a very hard time feeling intimate. So we want to think of our bedrooms as these beautiful, nurturing nests, as a spa that we escape to. We want to not have heavy objects over our heads. We want to try to keep the television out of the bedroom if you can. I know it's very un-American, but please at least put it in a closed cabinet, even for the electromagnetic fields. But you actually have an eye watching you all night, and it's not something that you really want to empower yourselves. Keep pictures of family, in-laws, and even some of your saints out of the bedroom, unless you live in a studio apartment and your whole world has to be represented by this room. This room is for you and for your partner, and you need to honor that relationship, and you need to honor yourself in a very physical way. And so having your mother-in-law's picture, having your children watching over you while you're intimate, and having all these little eyes looking at you isn't really conducive to really good intimacy. Save them for another room of the house, but definitely use the room for romantic pictures. Use it to honor yourself and your partner. A pair of deer, beautiful image of a male and female deer, represent marriage and fidelity and are a beautiful representation to bring in the bedroom. Think of the images you're bringing in. Think of the what you're looking at from the bedroom. A definite Feng Shui thing is not to have too many mirrors in the bedroom, because you will bring in other people. And unless you're a very much of a party person and this is your intention, you don't want to have more than one mirror in your bedroom. So this is very fun to deal with people. And the mirror should not reflect you in your bed, because again, you could startle yourself getting up, and you really need to just keep your whole system on calm, relaxation, and bringing it all very inwards to yourself. No ironing boards, no desks, no exercise equipment should be in the bedroom. This is about honoring you. Definitely nothing should be under the bed at all, except for the Chinese do believe in keeping money under the bed. They love money. We should all love money as it honors us, and Feng Shui has really taught me about bringing in finances to allow the healers in the world to get out there and make a difference. So feel free to put money in your mattress, put it under your bed, put it around you. Bringing in a salt crystal lamp is beautiful in the bedroom, and aromatherapy. And just please use your bedrooms to honor yourselves in the best way possible, and you will find that Feng Shui can really benefit you in many, many ways. So I hope you enjoyed this little talk about Feng Shui, and I hope that you are willing to learn more, use common sense, be joyful, and see your home and work yourself from the outside in. It's fun for a change to really play with our exteriors and make inner changes inside, and it's a lot easier. So use the tools and enjoy the blessings. Thank you very much.
You're watching The Third Eye Show. Would you please give our audience a little bit of background about the Metaphysical Center of New Jersey?
Well, I'd be happy to do that. The center has really been in existence since 1956, so I guess that makes us about 52 years old. We started in the basement of our founder, Donald Yacht, who was a teacher and a librarian, who thought that it was time for minds to be opened and people to explore spiritual topics in a very safe environment. And he created an idea that really has spread, and now we've been in existence 52 years. We're a nonprofit educational organization. Don Yacht really was inspired to found the center by his teacher, John Hay. John Hay was giving him the advice that it was time for him to found a spiritual center in northern New Jersey, and that it was part of Don's spiritual path to do so. And so he began in the basement of his home while teaching in a local high school and also as librarian. It has grown. We now have a 13-level course of study in metaphysics and parapsychology, which we teach at local public high schools, about half a dozen at this time. Originally, I think we were probably, as far as we know, in the United States, the first to introduce these topics in the public arena in the public adult school community. So we're very pleased and proud to have done that. We're also very pleased that the program continues to grow. We also have a program of lectures throughout the year, 1 or 2 lectures or programs throughout every month, and that invites the general public. Anyone is invited to come to any of our classes, and we introduce topics with people who are expert in their fields, local people as well as some major speakers. We've done conferences. Years ago, every 2 years we would do a major conference, and we've been fortunate enough to have people like Deepak Chopra and Ram Dass come. And more traditionally, our local speakers as well, who are really quite good. So we're enjoying sharing the wisdom teachings with many different people from many different walks of life.
Thank you. Well, who are the members of the Metaphysical Center?
Well, you're looking at members who are also board members, but we have people who are as young as teenagers all the way up to people in their 70s. We have people who are teachers. We have medical people, doctors, professionals, lawyers. In fact, we have meditation groups. We have lawyers who come to that, and housewives, and just ordinary people from all walks of lives who are seeking answers to life's issues and higher reality. What's life all about? Why are we here? What's our purpose?
Great. May I ask now, addressing the group, what personally excites you about being part of the Metaphysical Center of New Jersey?
I work with the Adult Ed program, and as Harriet mentioned, we have 13 level course of study in metaphysics and parapsychology. I personally went through all 13 levels with my teacher, Harriet, and then beyond that we have a 5-year course in Tibetan studies, which is actually putting the theory that we learn in the 13 levels into personal practice. Each month we learn a different topic. For example, something very simple. The first lesson is pay attention to what's going on in life, and then all month long we go through that, noting down what's happening, and then we come back and discuss that, and then do another lesson, such as detachment or something. In the public adult schools, we, as Harriet mentioned, we have right at this time we're in about 6 different schools, and the classes are not offered. You may take them in any order. They're not offered consecutively because our teachers sometimes teach 1 a semester, sometimes 2 a semester, so people can jump in at any time. We encourage them to take Metaphysics 1 early on because it gives good background, but beyond that they may jump in at any time because each unit is separate. The topics are individual.
And his lovely wife Barbara have enriched our lives. They volunteer, they do our newsletter, and it's a great service to everybody to let them know what our programs are and what's available. Peggy mentioned our adult system of education. We have pretty high standards for our teachers. Our teachers must have gone through the 13-level course of study. Then they have to retake whichever courses they are going to be teaching, such as 1 and 2. And then they have to come before the faculty and be auditioned. Many of our teachers are professional teachers, so we feel like we want very qualified people to be out in the field distributing our information, which is not our information at all. It's universal information. We just get to share it with people. Anybody else?
Well, I feel I'm relatively new to the whole atmosphere, even though I've gone through the 13-level program and as Harriet is my teacher, and I've met some wonderful people, and now they've become friends, which has enhanced my acceptance of things, and it made me realize how little I am and how much is out there and how much I need to know. And every time they mention a book, I'm not familiar with it, so I pick it up and read it. So to me, it's been an education for me personally as well as the group. And Peggy touched on that, be aware and be conscious and live in the moment. That probably is my biggest challenge, because I think we're all stressed with lots and lots of things to do. We all have agendas of work and home, and we're juggling, constantly juggling. So to me, this is a moment to sit back sometimes and relax, share the moment, enjoy the moment, and I think many times we don't allow ourselves to do that. And this audience has taught me to do that.
I think all spiritual groups change people's lives, and I think that's probably each one of us has a story about how we became attracted and how we became turned on to higher consciousness, and how we followed our path because of the community that existed in the Metaphysical Center. Margie, do you have anything
I
you want?
had my first experience with the Metaphysical Center came when, as the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I was ready to extend my studies with group instead of studying at home alone, and picked up an adult ed brochure, and there was the course right there in front of me. So I joined the classes and went through the 13 courses, and it was a wonderful experience.
I think part of it too is that a lot of times you can't talk about some of these things with other people,
Yes.
even
Yes.
in your own family. And so to meet with like-minded people to share these topics, it sort of validates who you are. You don't feel so isolated when you're there, and that's why I think the idea of studying with others is such a good idea.
I think that's very much to the point. Before I got acquainted with the Metaphysical Center, I had read books by people like Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and so forth. And the only person in my life that was like-minded was my wife. And it was actually my wife who started coming to the Metaphysical Center. She became a student of Gene Munzer, our former directors. And she kind of enrolled me in coming to the events at the center. And I realized, well, gee, here are a whole bunch of people, a couple of hundred people, that I can relate to in my interest in metaphysics. And it's wonderful. Here I am, a member of the board.
Well, I think one of the nicest things about it is the kindness and just the overall quality of the people. It just it makes you very relaxed to be with everybody, and we are quite joyful together. Yeah. The studies themselves are quite unique. Quite unique. I've enjoyed taking them all. I like the various healing modalities mostly, and the joy it brings you when somebody else actually helps themselves, you know. It's a nice thing.
I am closer to many people in the Metaphysical Center than I am in my own family. And it is because we share the same feelings about things. And unfortunately, in my family, I can't talk about some of the things that we talk about at Metaphysics, and so I'm just very happy to be a part of this center. I do programs for this center.
Well, we have a newsletter that's produced several times in the course of a year. And is it twice a year, Harriet, that we generate thousands of issues and distribute them by mail and to various health food stores, metaphysical shops, bookstores, and so we like to get our information of what we are producing, what lectures are coming up, articles of interest by people with expertise in certain areas. We have a website, www.metaphysicalcenterofnewjersey.org. .org, not .com. As I was saying before we started the show, we tried to get MCNJ so it wouldn't be so much to type, but we discovered that the Motorcycles Club of New Jersey has already got that, so we couldn't use that. We also produce and distribute flyers for particular events. Once or twice a year, we have a psychic fair and health expo, which have been very successful. Lots of people come to those. We have vendors that come and distribute their wares and their services. So I'm sure I've left stuff out, so if somebody else jump in.
Well, we also, because the Fall Festival is a public service, because we offer not only a fundraiser for ourselves to keep ourselves in business because we are nonprofit, but we also offer lectures because we're here to educate the public. And besides the wares and the psychics, our thrust is always educational. So we are looking forward to having 2 lecture rooms this year in the coming Fall Festival in November. We also offer outreach through book club reading circle, we call it, which is available to anyone, member, non-member. We also do meditation groups. We do some public speaking. I speak at the New Life Expo every year on behalf of the center. So we do a lot of outreach to try to let people know we are here, and if they are interested, we do have programs, we do have courses of study. And for people who are less studious, less able to devote themselves to a 10-week course of study, we have our Saturday night lectures, which are also, I think, a very wonderful educational outreach for people who can't commit to longer programs. And we're looking forward to doing more in terms of our educational program, maybe eventually making it available at the college level. We're working on that now.
Or even online.
Or online as well. Mm. Yeah.
The meditation groups that you spoke about, Harriet,
right.
For people who are just maybe getting into meditation, or for whom this is a new idea, would this be something that would be accessible to them, or is this for practiced meditators?
No, this is open to anyone. In fact, last year some of our meditation groups stopped because people moved away or were unavailable. So I began another brand new meditation group, and people came with a range of experiences, from people who had never meditated but who were interested to people who had some practice going. Majority of people were not seasoned meditators. The majority were either beginners or maybe intermediate. But it doesn't really matter, because you come together, and once you practice meditation together, you build, you learn, you grow. In my group, I try to introduce different types of meditation so that people can find out what meditation style is to their liking. Not everybody is a sit-down kind of meditator. There's walking meditation, there's movement meditation, there's breath meditation, chanting. So we explore all of it. And everybody is welcome. No rules, no admission ticket. We encourage people to develop a personal spiritual practice, whatever that may be. And I'd like to mention the Metaphysical Center is a non-sectarian group. It welcomes all people, including atheists. People continue to practice their own religions and still incorporate some wisdom teachings into their lives. There are no rules about what you must believe or you can't believe. The teachings are presented and you accept or reject whatever you're comfortable with.
When you have these mystery teachings or wisdom teachings behind you, sometimes you get, you look at yourself as just a speck in the universe and you wonder it is, but all of a sudden you look at things from a different perspective. It's not just the way I, with my ego and my own self, would approach the situation, but from a higher perspective, and things that might normally be an overwhelming situation or a very negative situation, you look at them as being stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. And it's just a different perspective that
Lessons, yes.
Lessons, right.
Thank you. Let me ask, are there any misconceptions about the Metaphysical Center or the work you do or who you are or what you are that you think are out there that you would like to set straight?
Right off the bat, I would like to say that what does metaphysics mean? What is metaphysical? People often ask me, they're very impressed, that's a high-sounding word, what does that mean? Well, there are two kinds of metaphysics. There's the metaphysics that I studied when I was in college, which is traditional metaphysics and logic, and then there is esoteric metaphysics. And the word metaphysics is really simple. It's meta, which means beyond, and physics, which means physical. So all metaphysical means is beyond the physical. Everybody here may have varying degrees of belief in certain principles, but we all believe that there's something beyond the physical. We are not just the flesh and bones and body. We are actually spiritual beings experiencing life in a physical reality. And so I think that's the first thing we need to get over. What is metaphysical? After that, people tend to believe Hollywood stylized versions of what spirituality is and what ghosts are and spirits, and there's a lot of misconception there and a lot of I think deception, because much of this is really very simple and much more beautiful. We often see the ugly side and blown out exaggerations, when in truth, spirituality and spirits, we are all spirits. We just happen to be in a container called a body. So I think that's another misconception. Hollywood sometimes gives us wonderful stories, but very poor metaphysical instruction. I would say people on the metaphysical path are really truth seekers. We want to know the truth. We're not satisfied enjoying television every night. We want to get out. We want to talk to other people. We want to, I guess, before we leave this planet, answer some deep questions. And we want a value system that we can live with, that we can aspire to. And I think those are the things that, on a deeper level, keep us tied together. Well, we talk about the internet. We are our own website. We are our own spider web. We are our own internet. I look at us as each little points of light on our own little internet, and that our purpose here, I think especially with the coming times and the earth changes and the energies that are available, which are wonderful, I think we're really here to anchor light on the planet, to find light in our own lives, and also to share that with other people, and to anchor light on the planet for world peace and for harmony and for good things for all people. That everybody feels pretty much the same way. We just have a way of doing it that we feel is practical for us and also expansive, and it tends to helping people out in need, but it also is helping our spiritual needs, our intellectual needs.
Well, you brought up the emerging consciousness earlier, and the higher consciousness that's emerging. And everybody's talking about the Mayan calendar. I'm sure they're talking about it here in Jersey, just like every place else.
Right.
And 2012 and all of that. And do you see the Metaphysical Center of New Jersey playing a part in that emerging consciousness? And if so, what is it? Would you address that? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, indeed I do. I think that there are no accidents. Metaphysically speaking, we say there are no accidents. Everything is according to divine plan. And I think people of all spiritual traditions believe that too, that there is a higher force at work. The Mayan calendar only talks about the end of a great cycle. It is not the end of the world. Let me reassure anyone who hears this. It is the end of a great cycle, and new energies coming in. There are programs on NOVA and science programs that talk about the enormous Earth changes and galactic changes and solar system changes. So it is a physical change. We will be in the center of the photon belt. And of course, Earth has gone through many, many cycles of Earth changes. Think of poor Noah and the Ark. There have been floods, there have been ice ages, there have been warm periods in which we are now, even though sometimes we wonder. It is a time where energy is heightened, that there's an opportunity for people to attain a higher level of their potential. I think that that's the great thing. I think the Chinese say, there's a proverb, may you be born in interesting times. And I think that we have all come back to this planet at this time to be together to help foster a new time in the history of humanity where we can aspire to a greater humanness. To be a human being is a very great thing. It's when people misbehave, we often say, oh, he's acting like an animal. Well, many animals very often seem more evolved than many human behaviors. That's because humans don't always reach their potential. So this opportunity during the end of the Mayan calendar and the beginning of the Aquarian age, which is in process, it's a very slow process. It's not blink and it turns around. We're all part of a great movement toward consciousness and toward light and toward the all, toward reunion with the all. And it's a process that I am personally looking forward to. I am looking forward to the opportunity for people throughout the world to raise up in consciousness, and that the war areas and the areas where people are in conflict, let's turn those swords into plowshares. I think now is the time that it can be done because of satellite, of internet, of world community. The global village is really the planet Earth. I think that we are coming into a time of heightened vibrational acceleration. I don't know about you, but I find that everything seems to be speeding up. And in the process, I'm finding that more and more people are bombarding each other, connecting, intersecting, interfacing, and becoming more aware of the needs of the world. Wouldn't be so many years ago that when there was a flood in one part of the world, they had to deal with it locally. Today, internationally, we're all involved. And that's part of this accelerated consciousness, in my opinion, and also our personal spiritual acceleration. I think many people are getting better than they've ever been before. I think many people are becoming challenged by being their worst self instead of their best. And I think we need to choose. We need to choose where we put our energy in, because I think that we'll be called to stand up and be accounted for what we've done with our lives. Bottom line, it comes down to, what have you done with your life? And was it for self-glorification, or was it for the good of the all, or good of humanity, good of every sentient being, as the Buddhists would say? So I'm looking forward to 212, and I am sure that the world will be there the day after December 21st, 2012.
Thank you.
Yeah, it seems like the universe is undergoing change. We've seen the tsunamis, and we've seen the earthquake in China recently. We saw the cyclone in Burma, and we've seen the world stand up to assist those who have survived the disaster, are still in danger. Yes, we've also seen certain governments that are reluctant to accept assistance from the rest of the world, but we have seen the world's nations stand up and be accounted for, and this is something that's relatively new in the world. And so, yes, there are sea changes that are happening around this time that are quite metaphysical.
What are the Metaphysical Center's future plans? Where do you see the Metaphysical Center going?
Well, we're open-ended. We're like an open-ended question. We are expanding like the universe, and we're growing according to the need in the world for our place. The important thing that we've discovered, anybody who comes to metaphysics recognizes that when you read the ancient mystery teachings and the ancient wisdom teachings, that modern science is corroborating so much of what metaphysicians and the ancient wisdom teachings have had. So it's a very exciting time historically with metaphysics being validated by the scientific community, and that's beyond any personal spiritual or religious belief people have. I think that we're moving toward one world, one consciousness. I think that the ecumenical movement in the traditional religions is a very inspiring thing, because we're looking at our common denominators rather than our differences. And I see that our differences are really enriching us. We're learning about other people's traditions, beliefs, including metaphysical beliefs, which really underpin all the world's great religions. The ancient wisdom teachings are really the source of so much. It's all roads lead to Rome, but there is one Rome. All the traditions and all the wonderful spiritual communities out there really agree on basic principles. In our Metaphysics 1 course, we have a sheet that we hand out, and it's the Golden Rule, and every tradition has some form of the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So there is a commonality, and I think that our place in the world will be determined by the need that we serve. Years ago, when Donald Judd founded the center, we're so often called the Metaphysical Society. That's such a misnomer. We are not a society. We are a center. We're a center of light, we hope, where people are welcomed and can come and allow them to grow. And some people come and stay. Some people come and use us as a stepping stone to whatever path that their soul has. So I think that it's open-ended. I certainly, have seen our center continue to grow. I've seen many wonderful opportunities to extend our presence in the world. Many of our conferences had some very marvelous people. We recently had Raymond Moody come and speak, and I could give you a whole litany of so many famous names, but there are so many ordinary people who are not known to the world in general, who bring enriched knowledge to all of us. So we build the field and they will come. That's bottom line. We are here, and if people need our help, we're here to help. And I'm sure there are other communities out there who are feeling the same principle and the same commitment. Our mission is to be here with whatever we can do to serve, especially educationally.
So if other communities would like to contact you, or people in other parts of the nation or the world, would like to contact you for information about organizational skills or how you do this, would you be willing to share that information?
I think I can I speak for all of us?
Yes,
I think we would be delighted to share anything that we have learned.
Absolutely.
Our experience has been 52 years long. Of course, none of us are that old, but I've been with the center 30 years myself, and I've learned a great deal. I've seen it grow from a small meeting in Don Yacht's basement organization to a place that rents facilities, that holds big conferences, that has a big extension, half a dozen teachers or more, depending at the time, 6, 8 adult schools being reached, many hundreds, thousands probably of students. So we're here, and if anything that we have learned will help any other group that is just beginning or at some middle stage of development, I'm sure we'd all chip in and we'd find the time to be of service to you, and would welcome it, actually.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.